Good morning, everyone. The topic which we are going to study today is your International Monetary Fund. So, without this topic, the purpose of studying the international finance will not be completed. So, this is again very important topic, and this will certainly be tested in your examination. So, please study and please focus carefully on this session. Okay. So, what do you mean by International Monetary Fund? So, the International Monetary Fund is an organization of 190 countries. So the purpose behind establishing this International Monetary Fund was to foster global monetary cooperation. That is the first point. When I talk about the foster global monetary cooperation, that means you can understand this concept by means of suppose there are two countries. So one country has surplus money and the other country does not have money, right? So the country which is not having money is in the need of money to expand its global reach, to run its economy, right? So what they can do, they can borrow money from the country which has surplus money, right? And in return, the country which is lending the money to the borrowing countries, right, they can earn the interest. So in a way, they are kind of exchanging money with each other so as to expand the global reach. And what ultimately happens because of this business, they grow in both the countries, the international trade happens, and once these all things happen, the employment gets generated and poverty gets reduced. So all these things are written over here in the form of the points. The second one is to secure financial stability. The third one is to facilitate international trade. The fourth one is here to promote high employment and sustainable economic growth. And the fifth one is to reduce poverty around the world. This all points you have to write in the examination. Now we will be studying the objectives of IMF. So basically there are three objectives of IMF. The first objective is to monitor global condition and to identify risk among its member countries. Okay. So what is the meaning of this first objective that you need to understand? So time to time this International Monetary Fund conducts a survey over all its member countries, and based on that survey they publish World Economic Outlook report and the Global Financial Stability report. These are the two reports which are very important that you should be aware of, that these two reports are published by International Monetary Funds every year. So basically, by means of these two reports, this International Monetary Fund conveys to its member countries that there could be certain risk that could come in the near future. So based on that assessment and the reports of the IMF countries, the member countries starts taking a step to mitigate the risk which can come in the future, right? It also delves into regional and country specific assessment. Not only the combined report, this IMF also generates the country wise reports also. So for every country, for every of its member countries, they generate the report and they provide that report to that particular country. So this will help assess the countries to assess its potential, that what can be done and what should not be done, right? Hence, the IMF can identify which countries threaten global stability. So these all points are self-explanatory in nature. You can read this, and this is what you have to write in the examination. Okay. The second objective is that it advises its members on how to improve their economies. So as I said that not only this International Monetary Fund reports the combined report to all its member countries, they also provide country wise reports, okay, so as to make them aware that how can they improve their economies, right? So this International Monetary Funds is also one of the very important organization, because this was the organization who had cautioned all its member countries about the 2008 crisis well in advance, but none of its members focused on that 2008 crisis that happened in US, right? So after that, the member countries came to know about its importance, and since then, this International Monetary Fund has been seen as one of the crucial organizations that actually help the member countries to grow, right? So these are the few points which is written, like Mexican peso crisis that happened, Asian crisis of 1997 and 98 happens. So these were the situations where we needed a kind of organization which could actually make the member countries aware that how to prevent all these financial crises. So now International Monetary Fund is playing an important role in tackling all these crises that can happen in the future, right? So the third point is it provides technical assistance and short-term loans to prevent financial crisis. Okay. The IMF goal is to prevent these disasters by guiding its members. Okay. So this also helps members to tackle their balance of payments problem. Balance of payments essentially means for each country there is a kind of balance of payments that happens. That is the net balance every country has because of exports and imports. This is again another topic we will be discussing sometime in future about this balance of payment topic. Okay, so apart from that, this IMF also stabilizes their economies, restore sustainable growth. Traditionally, most IMF borrowers were developing countries initially, but because of this international trade that started happening because of the lending and borrowing, now most of the developing countries become developed. So this IMF is also a kind of contributing towards the economic growth of the member countries. So it is acting as a catalyst for attracting funds from other sources. Okay. Now the another very important topic in international finance that you need to understand is your SDR. So what is the SDR? SDR, the full form of SDR is your special drawing rights. So we will try to understand what is this. Okay. So whenever any country becomes member of IMF, they are assigned a quota based on the following factors. Okay. Suppose when India became a member of this IMF, right? So India was also assigned a kind of quota. Similarly, US was also assigned a quota, and China was also assigned a quota. So all the members are assigned a quota whenever they become a member of IMF. Okay. So the quota formula is, it is the weighted average of your GDP. So the weight for GDP is taken as 50%. Openness of the economy of that country, the weight for that is 30%. Economic variability, that is the risk of that particular country, that how volatile the economy of that particular country, that weights for 15%. And the international reserves, so reserves include so many factors that will be studying in another class, so that weights for 5%, right? So this is the formula of the quota allocation that every country gets, right? This you need to remember, this you need to write in the examination if SDR question comes, right? So based on these, quotas are denominated in special drawing rights. So this quotas, whatever you get the quota because of this calculation from this equation. So this quotas are denominated in special drawing rights. So basically every country is allocated as allocated quotas, right? So that will be known as SDR allocation, right? So now how this SDR is created. So basically SDR is also created by taking the weighted average of 5 currencies. So 5 top performing currencies are taken to create one SDR, right? Because IMF is an international organization, so they cannot take one currency, right? So they have taken the 5 top performing currencies to make one SDR. So again, the weights, they revise every year, right? Every 5 years they revise the rates, right? So the weights, current weights as per 2022 review is like US dollar weight is 43.38%, and similarly pound sterling weight is 7.44%. Okay. And this is the fixed number of units of currency for a 5-year period, right? So this is the data which I have taken from the IMF website. Okay, suppose you want to calculate the value of one SDR in the form of US dollars, so that you can convert using this weights formula. The weight formula, weight allocation I have taken from the previous slide, and when you convert Chinese yuan into US dollar, so this will be the currency cross rate your calculation, right? You already know how to calculate the spot rates and then your inverse rates and all. So if you don't know how to calculate this, you need to go to the previous classes which were taught, previous videos which have been uploaded, then you will come to know about this particular thing, right? So this basically means that in one Chinese yuan, you can buy 0.1450 US dollar. Similarly, in 1 euro, you can buy 1.1040 US dollar. So all these things have been written. Once you multiply this, you will get this, and once you add this weighted average value, this will give you the value of 1 SDR, right? So 1 USD is equal to 0.8685 SDR, right? I hope some concepts are getting cleared about how this SDR is created. So basically SDR is the weighted average of 5 top performing countries, right? So this is the definition of SDR. Special drawing rights refers to an asset created by the IMF to help bolster member countries' currency reserves. When it was initially created in 1969, each SDR was worth this gram of fine gold. Today, the IMF adjusts SDR valuation every 5 years using a basket of fixed conversion rates with the dollar, euro, yuan, yen, and pound sterling, right? So see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 currencies are combined to create one SDR, right? SDR can be exchanged with the member countries for these currencies, right? So SDR are an asset, though not money. So this is not currency. This is not money. This is very important. You don't have to consider this as a money. This is just a weighted average allocation that is found by using the weighted average of 5 currencies that is written over here, right? In the classic sense, because they can't be used to buy things. This is not used to buy things, because money is used to buy things, but SDR is not used to buy the things. The value of an SDR is based on a basket of the world's 5 leading currencies: US dollar, yuan, yen, and UK pound. The SDR is an accounting unit of IMF transactions with member countries and as stable assets in countries' international reserves. So a general allocation of a special drawing rights is equivalent to about US 650 billion US dollar as on 23rd of August 2021. So based on the quotas, all the member countries will be given their SDR allocation from this 650 billion US dollar only, right? So one important thing, that whatever is the SDR allocation of each member country, they can borrow 200 times of that particular SDR from the IMF. So this is the significance of having the SDR. So SDR facilitates the international trade and borrowing and lending among the member countries. Okay. So this was all about today's class. I hope you understood all the concepts. If you still get any kind of doubt, you can let me know. You can contact me. So till then, goodbye and take care. Thank you so much.